I serve as a point of contact for all graduate students on campus. And again, I really am thrilled to be here leading this mindfulness group. It's such a great and useful service, especially right now. I firmly believe in the benefits of mindfulness meditation, and especially right now as we find ourselves really isolated, it can be a really beneficial practice and something that you can use on a daily basis and on your own time as well. As I understand it, we have a broad mix of mindfulness experience in this group, and this is perfectly fine because, as you want to emphasize throughout these sessions, that we're going to focus more on how than what. We're going to direct our attention more towards the dynamic processes of being and becoming. And during these sessions, we're going to work on integrating mind and body. But even with that, the mind itself can become disjointed and disintegrated. And so we're going to work on integrating the mind as well. So again, this is all very process oriented. It's all you can judge it by where you are and where you're going, not by where you are right now at a fixed point. So we will also meditate on the principles of compassion, openness, and presence in the here and now. What I'd like to do today as an introduction is to do more of a meditation than a pure mindfulness session. In the future, I'll do more mindfulness, but today I want to outline what this group will be like, what are the principles that we'll be focusing on, and I want to go over some techniques that are useful for it as well. At this time, you may decide if you want to keep your video on or off. And for today, I'll leave mine on, but I'm certainly open to feedback. If you find that distracting, I will turn it off in the future. But for today, as you're getting familiar with who I am, I decided I want to leave it on. At this point, I ask you all to find a comfortable position wherever you may be. That might mean closing your blinds, turning down the lights, resting your feet flat on the floor, putting your arms at your side, or simply sitting on the ground. Make your space as comfortable as possible for you. Now, close your eyes or employ a soft gaze. Let your spine stay straight and tall while your shoulders drop and relax. Take a moment now to focus on your breathing. In and out. It is not necessary to evaluate your breathing at this time. Simply acknowledge it. Notice the rise and fall in your belly. Continue to focus on your breathing and allow my words to enter into your experience, again, without offering judgment at this point. There will be time at the end of every session to describe one's experiences, if desired, and to express any insight that might have been gained, but now's not that time. Throughout this session, I will pause and give you all an opportunity to focus on your breathing and your other embodied experiences without interruption. As modern humans, we often believe that we exist behind our eyes, as entities within our minds. This, however, is a mistake when we consider our anatomy and our experiences. Our bodies are innervated. Our nerves receive messages from the brain, but they also send information to the brain. The process is not strictly top down or bottom up. It is dynamic. Emotional experiences like pain and suffering suggest that our realities are more than mere cognitive abstractions. Even if we manage to deny suffering with our powerful cognition, it will likely manifest in other ways, such as through damaged interpersonal relationships or psychophysiological distress. With mindfulness meditation, we are trying to become more connected to that part of our experience. We are attempting to balance the scales by attending actively to that embodied experience. We will remember that to deny aspects of our experience is to deny aspects of ourselves. Continue to breathe at this time. What is your body telling you? Our society's tendency to elevate the roles of cognitive abstraction, deconstruction, representation, or more aptly, representation, isolation, generalization, narrowly focused attention, and rationality leads to a whole host of problems. These are all facets of the brain's left hemisphere. And the right hemisphere, which is often the target of psychotherapy, is thereby neglected. Bear in mind that the relationship between these hemispheres is a far cry from the one presented in online articles, and both hemispheres are involved in most cognitive processes. But they do see the world in slightly different ways. The right hemisphere offers context to abstractions, serves as an experiential comparator for deconstructed systems, fuels presence as opposed to represence, emphasizes life's uniqueness, affords feelings of betweenness, supplies broad attention, and allows for a reason, the contextualized, meaningful form of rationality. Further, language is limiting, and many experiences cannot be expressed with words. Mindfulness is a time for us to focus on those experiences. This makes the silent reflection of mindfulness meditation especially potent and important. The left hemisphere is a somewhat closed system that revels in its knowledge and order and excludes contradictory information, whereas the right hemisphere is more open and sees life as a transformational process. It has been said the left hemisphere knows but does not believe, and the right hemisphere believes but does not know. Tragically, however, the left hemisphere doesn't know what it doesn't know, but the right hemisphere knows what it doesn't know. In these sessions, we will strive to integrate the hemispheres while understanding that they both serve unique and useful purposes. There's a time for each. We will attempt to carry out the difficult task of keeping them distinct while also helping them communicate. Again, we will not deny aspects of ourselves and will practice compassion. Nonetheless, to allow the left brain to take over would be to mistake the map for the real world. Mindfulness can be a way to understand oneself better, shed light on what was not known, have compassion for what was known but ignored and neglected, and integrate parts of ourselves that have become disconnected and even contradictory. Throughout these sessions, I challenge you all to focus on your personal experience and to truly experience it in the here and now. This is a time to live in the warm, embodied, contextualized, and unique how of existence, rather than the cold, disembodied, abstracted, and generalized what of experience that our society often demands of us. We focus on these aspects of experience not because they are all there is to life, but because they've been neglected. Our society has largely become biased towards the left hemisphere's way of attending to the world. And again, we remember that to neglect facets of our experience is to neglect facets of ourselves. How can you carry these tenets into your weekly activities? What insight, if any, have you gained that might help you feel connected and integrated in spite of our lengthy isolation? How can you be present when life is so hectic? I ask you all to meditate on these questions and any other ones that come to you now, throughout the week, and each time we meet. When you're ready, slowly bring yourself back to the group by opening your eyes or hardening your gaze. With our remaining time, which isn't a whole lot, I will admit, I will open up the room for reflections and expressions of insight. But now and always, throughout all of these sessions, any participation is completely voluntary. And as a closing remark, I would just like to say that these are tenets and principles that can be applied at any point during the day, outside these sessions, in any way that you can fit them into your unique lives. And I challenge you all to do that. I appreciate your time. I know it's really valuable. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I really look forward to having more of these sessions with you all throughout the rest of the semester.